You're dying right now. Not eventually, not someday. Right now, in this exact moment, tens of billions of cells inside your body are being executed on purpose by your own DNA. And here's the part that nobody tells you. If they stopped, you would not survive. You would not live longer. You would rot from the inside out within weeks. Your body has been killing itself every single day of your life, and without those deaths, there is no you. That is not a metaphor, that is biology. Most people think of death as something that comes for you, an ending, an outside force that eventually wins. That is how we talk about it, how we fear it, how we spend our entire lives trying to avoid it. But inside your body, death is not the enemy. It is the infrastructure. Every single cell in your body carries a built-in self-destruct sequence. Scientists call it apoptosis, from the ancient Greek word for leaves falling from a tree. The name itself tells you something important. Leaves do not fall because something killed them. They fall because the tree decided to let them go. Your body has been making that decision billions of times per day since the moment you were born. Here's what that actually means. In 1972, a pathologist named John Kerr was studying liver cells under a microscope at the University of Queensland in Australia. He noticed something that had never been properly described before. Cells were dying, but not the way cells normally die from injury or disease. They were not swelling, rupturing, or spilling their contents into surrounding tissue. They were doing something far more controlled. They were shrinking, quietly, neatly, dismantling themselves from the inside out, then breaking apart into small, clean packages that neighboring cells absorbed without any inflammation, without any damage, without leaving any trace that the dead cell had ever existed. It was the most orderly thing he had ever seen happen in biology. Kerr published his findings and coined the term apoptosis. At the time, almost nobody paid attention. The idea that cells could be programmed to die on command, that death was a built-in function rather than a breakdown, was too strange to take seriously. It took 20 years for the scientific world to catch up. In 2002, Sidney Brenner, John Solston, and Robert Horvitz won the Nobel Prize in Physiology for proving that apoptosis is not an accident. It is a genetic program. Every cell in your body carries the exact instructions for its own death, written into its DNA from the moment it was created. The signal to die is already inside you. Your cells are simply waiting for the order right now. Between 50 and 70 billion of your cells are receiving that order today. But that is not even the strange part. Here is what most people do not know. You can actually see apoptosis working on your own body right now. Hold up your hand. Look at the space between your fingers. Those gaps exist because of cellular death. When you were an embryo, a few weeks old, smaller than a grape, your hands did not have fingers. They were flat paddles, solid webbed structures with no separation between them whatsoever. And then apoptosis switched on. The cells filling the spaces between your future fingers received the signal. They dismantled themselves, one by one. Billions of cells executed themselves in a precise pattern until the webbing was gone, and 5 separate fingers remained. Your hands are the shape they are. Because billions of cells chose to die before you were born, the same thing happened to your face, your brain. Every organ in your body was sculpted by strategic death. Apoptosis does not just remove things, it carves, it shapes. It is the biological equivalent of a sculptor removing everything that is not the statue. Now, here's the part where it gets genuinely uncomfortable and also slightly funny depending on your mood. Every single day, your immune system produces cells that are capable of attacking your own body. They are created accidentally during the development process. Autoreactive T cells programmed to treat your own tissues as threats. If those cells were allowed to survive, your immune system would start destroying you from the inside. Your body would declare war on itself. So your thymus, a small organ behind your breastbone that most people have never heard of, runs what is essentially a daily execution program. It tests every new immune cell it produces. Any cell that reacts to your own body's tissues gets flagged, and then it gets killed immediately. No trial, no appeal. Your thymus has been quietly running this execution program since before you were born, and it has never once asked for your permission. You are protected from your own immune system every single day by a system of targeted death so precise, it makes the most advanced computer algorithms look sloppy. Before you close this, stay with me, because this next part changes everything. Apoptosis can fail when the self-destruct signal breaks down, when a cell loses the ability to receive the order to die. It does not simply stop dying, it does something far worse. It starts dividing uncontrollably, without limit, without any of the normal checks that tell a healthy cell when to stop growing. That is what cancer is, not a foreign invader, not something that came from outside. Cancer is your own cells forgetting how to die. It is the self-destruct mechanism failing. It is a cell that has lost its mortality, becoming in a terrible sense immortal. The thing keeping you alive every single day is the same thing that when it breaks, becomes the most feared disease in human history. Your survival depends entirely on your cells knowing when to end themselves. And you have never once thought about it. You have never had to. Your body has been managing billions of these deaths per day, perfectly, silently for your entire life, and you felt nothing. Here is why this matters. Beyond the biology, apoptosis is not unique to humans. It exists in almost every multicellular organism on Earth. Plants use it. Fungi use it. It is one of the oldest biological mechanisms ever discovered. Scientists have traced versions of it back over 1 billion years, which means that for longer than animals have had eyes, or brains, or the ability to move, life has understood something that human philosophy has struggled with for thousands of years: that death is not the opposite of life. Death is the condition that makes life possible. Every complex organism that has ever existed on this planet, every creature that ever moved, breathed, grew, or felt anything, has only been able to do so because its cells were willing to die on command. The willingness to end is what allows everything else to continue. Your body figured this out 1 billion years before your brain did. And the most quotable truth in all of biology is this: you're not alive despite the fact that you're dying. You're alive because of it. You thought this video was about death. It was always about what death makes possible. Every finger on your hand, every gap between your toes, every thought your brain produces without attacking itself, every morning you wake up without your own immune system declaring war on you, all of it exists because something in your body was willing to end itself so that you could continue. You have been thinking about death as something that will happen to you at the end. It has been happening inside you every single second of every single day, tens of billions of times, and every single one of those deaths was an act of service to the life you're living right now. The cells that died today to keep you alive never asked for anything in return. They just let go so you could stay. You're dying right now, 50 billion times today, and every single one of those deaths is the reason you are still here. The body you live inside has been running this system since before you took your first breath. It has never missed a day. It has never asked you to think about it. It has simply kept going, ending what needs to end, so that everything else can continue. Death is not waiting for you at the finish line. It has been walking beside you since the beginning, keeping you alive, one quiet ending at a time. If ByAizen just changed the way you think about your own body, subscribe. There is more of this. And now you can't unknow it.